tell us something about your discovery of new families of representations.
I told you something about SL2R and how in SL2R it's pretty clear that there's an analytic continuation of the principal series, and that leads to complementary series, and that's very important in the analysis of representations leading to functions which are holomorphic in strips. And so the natural question was, what were the representations that you got in other groups? And could you do this analytic continuation? And so we found, first working with Ray, and then Ray Kunze, and then with Tony Knapp, that there were representations, complementary series, which meant these were analytic by introducing the right kinds of objects. You could do their analytic continuation, and you could obtain unitary representations, which you could prove are irreducible. And then you could look at the book of Gelfand and Neumark on the classical unitary representations of the classical groups, and you could see their list of what were purported, the complete list of representations, and you could find representations constructed this way, which were not in their list.
Am I right? Other groups had done it independently?
No,
Do I have that
no,
wrong?
no. Only they had claimed.
Yes.
And they had not given a proof. Yeah, there was that style of mathematics that existed at that time in that subject, where often you gave proofs for many theorems and you had ideas, and then you sort of claimed theorems which you didn't prove. And I think that existed in their circle. So I don't know of anybody who was at that time proving that all. You see, it's very hard to prove that you have a complete list of unitary representations. It's easier because there's the algebraic problem of when you have a representation, and that you could maybe reduce to a question of an infinite dimensional Lie algebra problem. But to know when that representation can be unitarizable is a more difficult problem. So it would be much harder to have a complete list, even though they claimed they had and there was no contradiction until it was pointed out.
What was the prevailing view, and what was your particular view? Did you just, right from the start, not take for granted that they were right?
I think with us, it was, I have to say, not our goal to prove that. It was something that incidentally came out of our work. And it was the part that was easiest to talk about, because what we were proving is that there existed certain analytic families that had various properties. But if you look at these analytic families of representations, you find these new representations there. But our goal was to understand these analytic families. But if you tried to explain these, nobody, their eyes would glaze over. But if you told them you had some new representations, they would say, oh, that's interesting.